Okay, so that I'll have to do. So, right now I'm going to tell you about stuff you can get either free, cheaply, or if you wait, discounted, for being a pagan on a budget, because not everybody can get the new and used and everything and all that. So, this is just some information that I've gathered and some stuff that I've gathered, like myself, from other people online. I've looked up lists and I've gathered it all together, and here we go. So, first one, pretty obvious, out in nature. You can find water, sand, rocks, shells, twigs, which you can use as your representations for the elements, your wand, or just spend time out there looking at rivers and being in the sand and whatnot. So, there's that. Another option, not another option, but another thing is the dollar store. You can get candles. Some of the candles aren't the greatest, but there are a few that are really good. Really good. You can get candle holders, matches, wind chimes. You could get notebooks and pens, like this. I've gotten at one of the dollar stores near me. It's just a regular book. Things are about to get good, and I am using this as a recipe book. I'm in the process of filling it in. I have gotten Sharpie highlighters and Bic highlighters, which are pretty good. And I have gotten Papermate Joy Ink pens at dollar stores. So you can buy name brand stuff at dollar stores. So there's that. Pipe cleaners. Depending on where you go, because I have seen Michael's have pipe cleaners $25 for about $1.50. Sometimes you can find 25 to 50 pipe cleaners, like these are the full size pipe cleaners for between $1 $1.50. You can I've also found a pack of 400, which half size pipe cleaners. I paid about $3 for it, and I've made many ones of these. You can find utensils like knives, forks, spoons. You can find cups, plates, whatever, placemats. I found a really nice one with fall leaves on it, which was really cool. Incense. Like, I did see on one website that the ones sold at dollar stores can be cheaply made and with chemicals in it. So getting ones at like occult New Age stores may be the way to go. But if you don't use incense that often and you just want to go, oh, here we wanted to do that, you could. If you want to do that, you could. Now, trays. I found this one for $1.25, and it's more of the reflection than showing more of the reflection than the detail on it. But yeah, you can find trays. I found that one in the party aisle. Now I'm going to show you this. I got it at a thrift store, and this reminds me of Bridget. So you can find unique stuff. You could find unique stuff at thrift stores. So there's that. So back to dollar stores. You can find paint and other craft items. So if you need a quick acrylic paint in those like bottles, you can find it at the dollar store, and for like foam brushes, canvases. I have gotten canvases at dollar stores, and they're really good. You can find fake flowers like that, and vases too. Frames, wooden boxes, cards, seasonal items like Halloween, Christmassy, Easter's type stuff, organization stuff. You can find salt, baking soda. I found Arm & Hammer at both Dollar Tree and Dollarama. You could find organza bags there too. Like these ones. These blue ones I've gotten in a pack of like 8. And this black one I've reused from another purchase somewhere else. So you can find Mod Podge in the small containers. You won't find like the bigger ones. Chair cushions. Now, this is one, and I found, which I'm using, and I got another one that's a bit different. But you can use that if you don't want to sit on, if you have hardwood floors, or you don't want to sit on the carpet. There's the option of having at least a chair cushion, and a lot cheaper than say going to like Walmart. And I'm not too sure about Target, since Target isn't here in Canada anymore. But when it was here in Canada, the prices were expensive. So anyway, dowels. I have found packs of dowels that I am using for my god size. 6 inches and about 4 inches. Yeah, so you can find those. You can find a few spices, lighters, battery-operated candles. At a few dollar stores, depending on where you go, you can find Epsom salt. Mirrors. So if you are a person that uses mirrors for scrying, or if you just want a quick thing where you're on a go, you could find smaller ones or larger ones. So you can find a little, not the greatest quality, but yarn and ribbon. You can find that as well. Now, the next place to check out is the library. So, depending on where you live and where you go, yeah, like I could go to the next town over and go to their library, but not check stuff out. And like how big the section is of what you're looking at. You could find a whole section, like up to a whole section of like cookbooks, which you could get information from. But you could find a small selection of like tarot books or spirit books, or just the basics of Wicca or witchcraft or paganism. So it all depends on what you're looking at. But you could, like at my library, there's a small selection of like green living stuff. You can find stuff on gardening, cooking, crafts, gods and goddesses, and depending on what you're looking at, you could likely find something depending on what your library is like. Next place is thrift stores, antique markets, or secondhand stores. And they all have varying price points. I added this to it, but I found this star at a thrift store, and I'm not getting I have a few stuff in front of it, but I have a pumpkin trivet that I've propped it in a dollar store frame holder, like plate display holder. Yeah, one of those. I found an agate bowl at an antique market. It was a few dollars. I found some stones there as well. You could find different trays. I found a wooden one, which I used to make a tarot tray, which I've posted on my Instagram a little while ago. You could find cauldrons. My dad found me one while my parents were donating and I was at work or school. You could find knives, cups, books. This being one example. Candles being another example. I paid about $2 for these. Now, I forgot about these. You could find these at dollar stores. These craft cardstock, labels, and folders. So, side note, back to dollar stores, but yeah, you could find frames, mortar and pestles, again, my dad found this one, which I find really, it has a really good weight, and it's really nice. Design right there. You could find fabric there as well. You could even use like fabric from linens and stuff. Seasonal, like Halloween, Christmas, again Easter. You might not find a whole lot when it's not that season, but you can still find a few things there throughout the year. Used bookstores. I was wrong. This is where used bookstores I found. This one, I've found a few of them on lower shelves at thrift stores, but used bookstores are good as well for history, fiction. Again, depending on what used bookstore you go to, because there's two on one street, and one of them doesn't have the greatest selection of what I want, the other does. You can find things about crystals, afterlife, spirits, seasonal, cooking, gardening, candle making, soap making, a whole bunch of stuff. Now you could reusing. This is going all over the place, but it's just how I set it up. You could reuse candle jars, like I'm using for my pencil crayons. I found a box of 75 rose art pencil crayons at the dollar store for like $4. So, to me, that's a good deal. Again, couch cushions, if it's still got some sort of life into it, you could use it. Say, hey, I'm going to take this and use it for whatever. Wooden trays, if one of your family members is about to donate it or trash one, or if you find one, you could reuse it. Toilet paper tubes, or any kind of tubes you could make stuff out of it. Like, there's a few pictures of how to make like owls out of it. boxes, whether it's a good photo box or just regular Fruit of the... I was going to say Fruit of the Loop, but Fruit Loop. Again, not Fruit Loops, but Fruit by the Foot box, and I've put my crystals in there. So there's that Trivets. Again, I picked up. Yes, that was one I picked up at an antique market, but if you have one that, again, a family member was going to donate, but you liked it, take it, I guess. Cups, like I have 2 cups. One I was given by a friend, another by a German teacher. So if you could reuse place bowls, candles. Like if you have, say, this much was left, and I saved all the green colored ones I could melted, you could, there's a few like images and text out there that you could melt crayons to make candles as well. I haven't tried it, but it seems like a good idea. Candle holders, you can use those time and time again. This will lead into the next one I'm talking about. I got this on sale for $5, and I could use this over and over again. So, pens, pencils, spices, baking soda. If you got some expiring soon, you could find some spells that you could do. Pennies. Before the government stopped circulating pennies, I've saved a few and have some in a jar. Lock and key, if you or somebody isn't using it, you could. Herbs, if you grow it every year, that's a way of reusing. Salt, like if you have some left, and you could use that. Mason jars, ramekins, or little bowls meant for sauces, which can be used like as offerings or candle holders or whatever. Next, Walmart, if you're in a country that has Walmart. Candles, where you can get pillars, tea lights, votives. You could find a few incense there as well. You can find holders there. The candles, I got a pack of 100 tea lights, and it was under $10. I got about 22 votive. They were white. It's about $9. So you could also find battery-operated candles, matches in the camping section. More often than not, the lighters, the long lighters. Placemats, seasonal items again, but if you're like me, you wait for it to go down in price, say like after the holiday, because that's when they are trying to get rid of it, not take it back. You can find some craft items like ribbon, fake flowers, Mod Podge, cardstock, whatever they have in their craft department. Stationery items like notebooks, binders, pens, pencils, post-it notes. Again, chair cushions, side tables that could be used as altars, Epsom salt. Some have a small selection of essential oils. If you don't want to go to health food stores or like Green Earth, which Green Earth I find essential oils are expensive enough, but I find Green Earth expensive for their essential oils. So yeah, you could. At Michael's, I found these wooden owl. It's supposed to, like, star, which you could use for like Captain America, but these owl wooden cutouts that were on clearance for 50 cents each. You could find crystals and pendants at Michael's jewelry section. You could find tumblestones at a few different places like Green Earth and Hobby and Toy, and a few other places, which are, for the tumblestones, which are like that big, you could start off for at least $1. At Green Earth, you could find certain points for about 12. So you could also find a few deals if you have like first star psychic fair or certain other types of fairs that come at least once a year. The first choice first star psychic fair comes about 3 times a year. So with a quick search, you could try meditation. I found this, I got this discounted or with a coupon at Michael's. Okay, so back to meditation, you could either get CDs or find YouTube videos online, or if you have a book that has it, you could try and do that. Sorry. And it could be short, long, depending on however you need, or start off short if you're just starting to try it like me. And you can try and DIY what you can. Sometimes you can use recyclables like that, or with this was a box, I got printer paper and just covered it up. Or if you have extra, if you are a crafter and you have extra stuff, you could use that if you have like extra yarn or extra paper or whatever. So another thing is if you have a familiar, like if you own a cat, dog, bird, whatever, and there's that connection, there's like free time spending with your animal. Now, if you are in a place or are able to book off like a week or whatever and go to certain places for public rituals or camps or whatever, or find a local place that you could go to. Some of them are free, some of them you do have to pay a little bit to get that experience, but there are some free like festivals and rituals that you could go to. Just make sure you're following their rules and regulations and stuff. So, and if you're able to, teach what you know. So, whether it be tarot, crystals, shadow work, whatever, if there is available to teach what you know, like face-to-face, like in a workshop at your community center, awesome. Do that, or do this. YouTube channel it, YouTube video it. And another thing is memorization. For me, that sucks. I'm not the greatest at memorizing, but it is a good thing for certain things, and yeah. Or if you want to memorize a song or poem, it'll take me a long time to do that. And so another thing is gardening. You can do that as well. So yeah, those, wow, first video that's lasted like half an hour. So those are just some things that you can find either free or under like $15 that you could bring into your practice if you want that tangible physical thing in it. So yeah, and if you have any other things to add, you can put it in the description box below. I am also posting the document on my blog, and you can comment there as well. So yes, thank you if you watched this long. Happy readings.